Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome viewers once again to my channel. For those of you that have subscribed, you are most welcome. Those of you that have not subscribed, you are also most welcome. So carrying on with my PowerPoints for the various maths and English topics. We're carrying on with adding and subtracting fractions. In this one we've got also worded questions and algebra problems which are more prevalent on the 11 plus. So as always, the plea is please like, share and subscribe my channel and hit that bell icon so that you are notified of the upcoming videos. Okay, so let's make a start. So I've got some simple examples. So here I've shaded two similar amounts. One is a quarter and the other is 2 quarters, and that of course quite simply makes 3 quarters. Okay, so I've shaded in for illustration purposes. So these are nice easy examples to start off with. And on the other side we've got a third and we have a quarter, which is a little bit more challenging, but we need to look at the common denominator of 3 and 4, which is of course 12. So we turn both those into 12, and sorry, the sum is down here. So the question to ask is, what did we do to change the 3 into 12? The answer of course is we multiplied by 4. So we do the same to the top number, so that becomes 4 12, and similarly on the other side we multiplied 4 by 3, so that becomes 3 12. Okay, so and then we, because the common denominator is now the same, we simply add the 2. So 4 add 3 is 7, so the answer is 7 12. Okay, so here we have 4/5 and we have 2/3. So we need to find the common denominator again. So the common denominator of 5 and 3 is 15. So again I've turned it into 15. And what did we do to the 5 to turn it into 15? The answer is we multiplied that by 3. So we must multiply 4 by 3. 4 times 3 is 12, and on the other side we multiplied that by 5, so we must multiply 2 by 5. So that gives us the same common denominator of 15, and now we are able to do the sum. So it's 12 take away 10, which is of course 2, so the answer is 2/15. Okay, so we'll take it a little bit further and look at more challenging questions, worded questions, and as I've said, going to look at the algebra. So all maths has rules. We're going to look at the rules for doing these sums, and also, as I've already said, worded questions. So we have the sum here, 3/8 take away 1/4. So remember, we must look at the common denominator. So here the denominators are 4 and 8. So remember, the common denominator could be one of the numbers or one of the multiples of the numbers. So here of course it is just 8, because 8 goes into 8 and 4 goes into 8. So because it's 8, the other side stays the same, and this side with 1/4 has to change because we multiplied 4 by 2 to get 8. Therefore we multiply the top number 1 by 2 to get 2/8. So the answer here is 3 take away 2, which is of course 1. So the answer is 1/8. Another addition. So 1/6 add 5/8. So again, we need to look for the common denominator. So it is not always the two numbers multiplied. We go for the lowest number that both numbers will go into, and which in this case it is 24. So what did we do to the 6 to get 24? The answer is we multiplied by 4, so we must do the same. So 1 times 4 is 4, and on the other side we multiplied 8 by 3, so 3 times 5 is 15. Then we simply add the two together, and our answer is 19 over 24. Okay, another addition. So this time it is the two numbers multiplied together, so the common denominator is 35. So we ask ourselves, what did we do to the 5 to get 35? The answer, of course, is we times it by 7, so we must times the 3 by 7, and we get 21. On the other side, what did we do to the 7 to get 35? We times it by 5, therefore we must times 4 by 5 to get 20. So the common denominators are the same, and the top numbers have been multiplied, so it is 20 plus 21. It is 41 over 35, which of course is a top-heavy fraction, which means that it's going to be a mixed number. So we divide 41 by 35, so 35 goes into 41 once with 6 left over. So the answer is 1 and 6 35th. Okay, so I am going to move quite quickly because I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, so a more practical question that you might see in SATs or 11 plus. So we have a rectangle and two of the sides are given, 4 1/3 and 2 3/4, and the question is calculate the perimeter. So the perimeter means walking all the way around. So because two of the sides are given, what we're going to do is we're going to add these two, then of course double it to get the total. Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. In the old school, when I was at school, we made them into top-heavy fractions. So here it would be 4 times 3 is 12, add 1, 13 over 3, plus 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3, 11 over 4, and then you would do the addition. But now the children are encouraged to keep the fractions and the numbers separate. So here the common denominator, sorry, I should have pointed out, is 12. So in the first instance we multiplied 3 by 4 to get 12, so we do the same to the top number. 4 times 1 is 4, and on the other side we keep the whole number, and then we multiplied 4 to get 12, so we must multiply 3 by 3, which is 9. So now we have two whole numbers and we have fractions which with the same denominator. So 4 plus 2 is 6, and 4 twelfths and 9 twelfths is 13 twelfths, which once again is a top-heavy fraction. Therefore that has to be turned into a mixed number and added to the whole number. So the 13 over 12 is a 1 and 1/12, so 1 add 6 is 7, and like I said, 1/12 remaining. So remember, this is two of the sides, so we need to double this to get the answer. 7 and 7 is 14, and 2 12. Okay, and always remember that we need to put a fraction in the lowest form. So 2 goes, or 2 divides into 12, so the answer is 1/6. 2 into 2 goes once, and 2 into 12 goes 6. It's 14 and 1/6. Okay, so another example that we're going to illustrate. A house has a vertical height of 8 and 2/3 meters. It has 2 floors of 5 and 6 7th meter height. What is the vertical height of the roof, or what I would call the loft or the attic part of it? So the total height is 8 and 2/3, and up to the roof, which is 5 and 6/7. So we simply take the bigger number away from the smaller number, because that is the total height, 8 and 2/3. Okay, so again, I would turn that into a top heavy fraction. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2, 26 over 3, and 35 and 7, 41 over 7. But in schools nowadays they are told to keep them separate. So the common denominator for 7 and 3 is 21. So the 3 was multiplied by 7 to get 21, so we must do the same to the top number. 14 multiplied by 7, 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. And on the other side, the 7 was multiplied by 3 to get 21, so we must multiply the 6 by 3, and we now have 18 over 21. So the easy bit, 8 take away 5 is 3, and then the slightly complicated bit, 14 take away 18 is minus 4 over 21. So we must take that 4 away from 21, and of course take 1 from the other number as well, and that gives us 2 and 17 21s. Okay, so we have this question now. In Mark's class, half the class's favorite color is red, a third prefer blue, and 1/10 prefer green. What is the fraction that is left? So we simply add the three numbers, which is a half plus a third plus a tenth, find the common denominator, which in this case of course is 30. So 2 has to be multiplied by 15, so we must do the same to the top number, 15/30, and 3 had to be multiplied by 10, so we must do the same to the top number, and 10 had to be multiplied by 3, so we do the same again. So this accounts for the taste, and of course we've got the little bit left over, which is what the question is. So 15 add 10 is 25, add 3 is 28, and that in a simplified form is 14 over 15, dividing both numbers by 2. That accounts for the people that are given. That of course leaves just 1/15. So 1/15 prefer a different color. Okay, now moving on to some algebra questions. Here we have x over 2 and we have x over 3. The common denominator here is 6. So we look at what we did to the previous denominator. The 2 was multiplied by 3, so we must multiply the top number by 3. 3 times x is x. And on the other side, 3 was multiplied by 2, so we must multiply the top number by 2. So here we have two like terms, and they can be added. So 3 add 2 is 5. The answer is 5x over 6. Okay, so in this instance we have an x squared, and for those of you that know your algebra, that becomes the denominator, because x times x is x, so the right hand side stays the same. So the other side, because we have to multiply, on the other side the common denominator is x squared, so the x had to be multiplied by x to get x squared, so the 5 has to be multiplied by x to give us 5x. So what you notice here is that we don't have two like terms. We can't add the 5 and the 2. So the answer is 5x plus 2 over x. So that is the answer, 2y minus 3x over xy. So finally, got an 11 plus question. The question is 2 pi over 7 minus pi over 5. So I'm going to pause the video so that you get the chance to have a go at it. Then I will go through the question. Okay, so I'm going to go through the question now. The common denominator, of course, is 35. So we ask ourselves, what did 7 need to be multiplied by to get 35? The answer, of course, is 5. So we multiply 2 pi by 5 gives us 10 pi. Looking at the other side, the 5 had to be multiplied by 7. Therefore, we multiply the top number, which is pi, by 7 to give us 7 pi, and that gives us a nice easy sum to do. So 10 pi take away 7 pi is 3 pi, and is the common denominator we have. So the answer is 3 pi over 35. So I do hope that I haven't rushed that too much, that you have benefited from that. And just to summarize, we've looked at adding and subtracting fractions, we've looked at problems and mixed numbers, and of course looked at the worded problems as well as the algebra problems. Okay, so as always, I've written 5 stats questions that I found, so to test yourselves. So I'm just going to pause there for 5 minutes, and hopefully you can do those at your leisure. Then I will reveal the answers. So I'm about to reveal the answers to this. So these are the answers, and I hope that you did get the questions correct. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. I do hope that it has been useful. Thank you very much for watching, and the plea, as always, is please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, look after yourselves, look after others, अपना ख्याल रखना, दूसरों का भी ख्याल रखना, दुआओं में याद रखना. अल्लाह हाफिज. Goodbye.